The first task is asking us to just display two dates using a class, which is the source of the value of the dates or the numbers of the dates themselves. So just let's demonstrate that. Actually, it's a very basic one, but it will clarify how to use the classes. Directly, I'm digging to my online compiler. Okay, so here before the class, I'm gonna give a command to the program to give it a title. Actually, dates using a class. Simple. So I'm gonna create my class here. I'm gonna give it the name dates, the scope, semicolon. Okay, here I'm going to declare actually with a public view the first variable. I'm going to say here. Second variable will be month. Third variable will be day. Simple like that. Okay, and all of them they are ints. Okay, let me terminate that by semicolon each. Good. I declared the status of this class. I'm going to pass to the behavior, which is also I'm going to give it a public view. Public. Yes, here. I'm going to set date. Set date. That's I'm going to use to initialize the value of each. Scope is an inline method. It's an inline method. Since I'm defining it here inside the class. Good. Set date. I'm going to give the year, let's say equal 2022. I'm going to give the month to be here 04. I'm going to give the day here to be 17, semicolon. That's it, done. I may do like that. I may do like that, actually. It's one of the solutions. What is this thing? Actually, it's a method, and it has to give this process. And since it's not a constructor, it is having a different name than the class name, so it has to have a return data type. I'm going to give void here, because I'm not using a return, so it's a procedure. So it's enough like that. It can be. It can be. Good. This is the first thing. Actually, we are complete. Let me just call this method here in the main. Let's just have an effect, an impact on that. So here in the main, so I'm gonna just declare an object. I'm gonna instantiate the class, which is the dates class. I'm gonna copy here. I'm gonna say d. Okay, d dot. I'm gonna say here year equals something. D dot something. Here, just to bring your attention is that I'm pointing to the variables. I'm going to just eliminate this process because I don't want to do this initialization here. I'm going to do the initialization through the call of this set date, the date method. Date method is the one. Yeah, I'll call it here, and that's it. And then after I'm going to call the parameters for an output. Now, the out. The date is d dot year, d dot month, d dot day. And let's give an end of line, and let's test now. Let's just have a test. The date is 2022 for 17. Let's give it actually a structure of a date. So here, great. So let's separator. Okay, let's test again. Yes, 2022 for 17. It is a date. It is very fine. It works very fine here. We succeeded. I'm gonna make the initialization differently here. I'm gonna just bring a modification. So this way, this is the first solution here. Second solution, I'm gonna set date 2. I'm gonna just use the set date 2. set date 2. But I'm going to use actually parameters a. I'm going to say d first of all. Sorry, I'm going to say y for the year, int m for the month, int d for the day. Good. And then after the year would receive the y, this y here, and the month would receive the m, this m here, and the day would receive the d, is d here. That's great. So now I'm going to call the same set date 2 here, d dot set date 2. In between the parameters here, I'm going to give 2022, comma, 04, let's say, comma, 17. Let's execute. Okay, the output is the same. Which initialization is having an effect here? Is it the initialization of the set date or the set date 2? Actually, it's the last initialized. This is the one. I'm going to prove that by changing the year to be 2021, and let's see. Here it is, 2021. It has been changed. So the last update is having impact. This one is going to be utilized and then after neglected, overwritten. Yeah. That's how this way actually we're able to manipulate the work with the class to display different dates. Let's pass to task number 2. To calculate the area, actually we are required to calculate the area of a circle in addition to the circumference of the same area, same circle, sorry. Let's dig in. Let's dig in. Okay. Okay, I'm going to create a class. To have the name. Let's say circle. Is the scope of the class. Okay, here in this, I'm going to give a private view. Private access specify for the, I'm going to say Ryan. Okay. It's enough. Then the procedures now. Public access, publicly accessed. I'm going to say here set let's say Ryan. Int R. Okay, here I'm going to say Ryan equals R. Good. Then procedure, so I'm going to give it actually data type. I'm going to refer to the void only. It's enough. Good. Let's calculate the area first of all. So I'm going to say here get area is the startup. It's an inline function. Also, it's an inline procedure. Since it's a procedure, I'm going to give a void for data type return. The process is C area equals by R square. Actually, it is 3.14 multiplied by here the power R2 semicolon. Good. And this area, C area, it's an let's say float or something like that, data type. And in here, it's a void. Great. It's enough. So here, I may use the let's say float in return in order to make it function. Copy this one and give it in return. Return, yes, C area, semicolon. That's it. Yeah, return C area. Good. We did it. Okay. To define this actually power, I'm going to call the library include math. Great. So yes, let's test before that our main objects. Instances, I'm going to create an object from the circle. I'm going to say C, then C dot Ryan. Say Ryan, I'm going to give it a measure 5, for example, as a parameter. Then C dot get area. And this C dot get area, it's in the it is a function, so I'm going to use C out for that since it has a return. That's enough. Let's test. Okay, you have an error. Math, he's saying it's not complete compilation terminated. Math.h, I believe. Math. Yes, here. R. It's not recognized the R, so we do not have an R. We have Ryan. It's the same variable, so. Great. 78.5. 78.5. So since the Ryan, I set it to be 5 here. So the calculation is 78.5 here. I'm going to just make it clear. The circle area is the circle area is 78.5. So it works very fine. Now the circumference of the same circle area, I'm going to create another non-inline method. I'm going to say also float circumference. Circumference. Yes, okay. Semicolon. Okay. I'm going to define it outside of the class. That's for your knowledge only. To do so is the same that I'm going to copy the same prototype. Paste. Float data type, it's the same, and it is to be reached through the class. So copy this class name. Copy. So here, class. Scope resolution operator, and we start and define the scope here. That's good. In between here, I'm going to say here, let's say return immediately. Return 2 pi r. So 2 multiplied 3.4 multiplied Ryan. Okay, semicolon. That's good. Before we execute, let's call this circumference here to call it. Circle, let's say here circumference is C dot circumference. Yeah, okay, let's execute now. The circle circumference is 31.4. Let's bring them actually in a new line each. Less than and del. Less than and del. Okay, let's execute again. Circle area is the circle circumference is. So it works very fine, and it calculates also perfectly, and we are using a class to do so, and we are respecting the access specifiers, private here and public here, and perfectly we are having results. We are yes, getting results perfectly without any issue. So yes, here it is. I'm going to give a title and a comment for this code here. Circle area and circumference using a class. Okay, perfect. Let's pass to task number 3. Let's solve this one actually, and you stop there. Okay, revise C++ program here in this task. Okay. We are going to initialize differently and we'll bring the output later on. So it's the same as the task number one, but I'm going to just manipulate that differently a little bit. Let's dig in. So we are going to display the dates after we initialize the dates values differently. Yes, so here. So far, immediately I'm going to create the class, give the name dates, yes, scope, semicolon here. I want to give a private access to the, let's say, year, month, day. And since he's telling us to initialize them directly here, I am doing that. Good. They are all int variables. So here is it. Here it is. Okay, great. So this way we declared and initialized 3 variables inside the class. Which they are already declared as private variables. Okay, let's, as per the question, get date. We are required to use the get date, define a method. It's a method, it's a function here. Since it is using the simple parentheses to initialize the date. So first of all, we initialized already the dates, and still we are required to use a specific method to get the date, actually to set to initialize the date. No more, no less. Good. So this method here, it has a data type in return. It must, because it's not having the same class name. Get dates, it's not dates. Good. Here in this get date, I'm going to define parameters for actually to visualize it. I want to make it easy. So int, let's say y, int m, then int d. Good. So here, year equal y, month, yes, month here equals m, and then after day equals d. Yes, we got the date. We got the date clearly. Simple here. Let's initialize again. Let's initialize the date. Okay, the record I'll give it to you later on. So once anybody wants to leave, yes, and I'm going to give you the record in just in a while. All the best for الاختباراتكم إن شاء الله. وسأرسل لكم التسجيل فيما بعد. Okay. Good. Now the output. I'm going to create another procedure here. Display date. Yes, here it is. Here it starts. It gets added. So immediately I'm going to just display out the year. There is no need for this phrase here. Okay, here I'm going to say nothing, just say year here. Year less than, slash. Then month, then day. It's okay, let's just see that. Let's have a look by initializing the class. So dates equals d semicolon d dot year equal let's say I may initialize them here differently. But even though, no, I'm not gonna say. I'm gonna just bring the output only here. Let's just first of all have the output, and after we talk display, same display date, the same method name. Great. So parentheses, semicolon indicating termination statement. Let's run. I have an error starting from the top. Yeah, here is an end of line. End of line. Good. Dates equal D. Yeah, int dates equal D. Let's execute. Still I have an error here. It's not recognized as D, he's saying. Let's say D. Yeah, here. There is something missing. Actually, let's just execute that because, first of all, we have to declare this D, first of all. Dates. There is no in dates here, just class name. It's the same class name. We're instantiating the class. Yeah, so dates D dot display date D dot get date also. Okay, let's execute now. Yeah, good. We have different errors. Get date. Not much of function is saying. Okay, I'm gonna give different name here to avoid get date. Yes, good. Yes. No, it is there. It is there only. So dates. Yeah, we did not. No, here it is. We call it. Get date. Yeah, okay. Yeah, candidate actually here the date it has to receive 3 values. So I'm gonna give here 2022 04, comma 17. That's it. Save. Execute. Sorry. Here it is. Here's the date. It works very fine now. It works very fine. So what do you do here? Display date. Actually, it has to. Which value is this being displayed now? It is the one called by this date, or the date displayed here statically. It is this one only because the get date has been called after the display, and I will prove you. So here I'm going to say 2020. Let's execute. It will not give us the 2022, give us the 2022. Here it is. From where I'm going to change this 22 to 24. And you'll see that will be shown here. Yes, 24. Here it is, 24. So those are the values being shown. Why? Because the order of the get date, it comes after the call of the display date. To do so, to avoid such an issue, just swap positions. Swap positions. The get date before the display date. Let's execute now, and we see something different. 17/4. It is 17/4/2000. Yeah, it is very clear. Yeah, I'll stop here. I'll stop here. I'll send you the record and just right after. Share your screen with me, please.